Hey, what's going on, guys? You saw the title. We gotta talk about Battlefield 6 today. I just got done playing, and if you can tell by the disappointment in my voice, this game is really just destroying my expectations in the worst way possible. Let's talk about it. Okay, so this is not a review of Battlefield 6. This is me just talking about the issues that I encountered, the things that I believe need to get fixed. Honestly, the big one I feel like a lot of people talked about was the movement changes. We'll get into more about the movement later on. There's a slide mechanic in the game. It's useless. I would never ever use it if I were you. It screws up your aim to the point where it's just straight up not worth it. There's so many penalties for jumping, sliding. I mean, the best you can do is crouch spam. Crouch spamming isn't the worst thing in the world, but you still just, your gun sways all over the place, so I don't recommend you do that. So there really isn't any movement options that are genuinely viable. The game is very, very clunky compared to beta. Beta felt a lot smoother, a lot more intuitive. This feels like junk. It feels very clunky, and it doesn't feel... It feels like they're trying to be like immersive and give you so much weight. Everything feels like it's super weighty, and it feels terrible, to be honest, to do anything other than stand still in this game. Pushing gunfights is your worst nightmare. But we'll get into the movement later. Another giant one, honestly, the biggest issue with this game, in my opinion, is the weapon leveling and player leveling. It's way too slow, especially the weapon leveling. I don't really mind player leveling being as slow. It's pretty bad, but it's not abysmal. It's the weapon leveling that's a problem. I think every weapon goes to like 45 or something. Ridiculous like that. And you'll be lucky to get 2 level ups in a match. You know, like you gotta kill a lot of players. Like 60, 70, 80 plus players. The guys in my lobby aren't doing that. The average player is getting 15 kills. Are you expecting that average player to level their guns up in less time than it takes to complete a fucking battle pass? It's ridiculous how long the leveling takes. And I think that that is the least controversial thing I could possibly say about this game is the weapon leveling. No one likes how slow it is. Bump that shit up. It is ridiculous. This game is almost dead on arrival, specifically because of the weapon leveling. Right. Damn. Okay, now that those two are out of the way, there's another giant one. Accuracy. Or what you might have heard referred to as bloom. Bloom, imagine your gun, the muzzle of your weapon. Imagine a cone with the pointy end coming towards your barrel. There is a cone exiting your barrel. Any of your bullets that you shoot can go in that cone randomly. That's how accuracy works in this game, which kind of sounds bad the moment you hear it, but it's not that bad. It just means that certain guns just aren't viable at longer ranges because that they start to get really inaccurate, which is, you know, like realistic and honestly good for gunplay. You don't want your weapons to be super beamy. You don't want to be getting killed at 200 meters with an AR, aka what happened in Battlefield 2042. Now, the issue with this game is they changed it. Since the beta, they completely destroyed the accuracy. Especially of assault rifles. So the MP5 is literally better than every assault rifle in the game because it has good accuracy. An SMG is better at long range than an assault rifle. That is ridiculous. Like, I'm trying not to just straight up call the devs morons, but genuinely, do you play video games? I mean, you clearly develop them. I feel like you have to have some sense of how the game should play. Submachine guns should be hitting more shots at range than assault rifles. And then I remember seeing a post from David Sirland on Twitter where he's like, yeah, dude, you gotta tap fire. Why are you defending this? As a developer, why are you defending it? It's a clear issue and you're gonna stand your ground? Now that is something inexcusably moronic. Yeah, dude, I cannot defend that. Damage. That's moronic. To not sit there and try and listen to what they have to say, but to stand your ground and just go, yeah, you have to tap fire. That's been in Battlefield since the inception. You have to tap fire. Everybody knows that. At 20 meters? These assault rifles are horribly inaccurate. And you have to get attachments to make them even remotely close to accurate. Which those attachments take ages to get. All these issues culminate into an incredibly disappointing and frustrating experience that overall is not engaging for me. But we have a lot more to talk about, so let's continue. Okay, so a couple baseline issues. Snipers are insanely overpowered. With the lack of movement and smoke grenades being locked to the support class, snipers are insanely overpowered. You have no way to get cover from a sniper, and you have no way to traverse the map because there's zero fucking movement. So you just get sniped. If you play on any of those maps, any map in the game, you're gonna get sniped when you get out in the open. Smokes are essential for gameplay in Battlefield. They've always been essential for high-level play and just casual play. You throw a smoke so you can push the point. That's just how that shit works. And yet they locked it under the support class, which is already arguably the most broken class. You get infinite ammo, you get infinite heals, and you're just self-sufficient. You don't have to rely on anyone else. And you can revive teammates, which is maybe the most broken thing in the game, you know? In Battlefield, being able to revive teammates is crazy. And now I'm not saying we should remove defibs from the game. No, but I'm saying that medic class is already inherently very powerful, and then they just gave medics the smoke grenades after the beta. Why are we doing this? I don't know. It baffles me, some of the decisions that they decided to make from the beta. So you can't move anywhere on the map without getting sniped. Snipers are insanely overpowered. Speaking of the snipers aren't 100% accurate unless you're using the recon class. I found this post today. I thought that was really interesting. I think Stade found it, or at least he was talking about it. It could have been Westy. Dude, I don't remember. Apologies. But yeah, I mean, that's not listed anywhere in the game whatsoever. That in order to get 100% accuracy on your sniper shots, you have to use the recon class. At that point, just close the weapon system. Like, these developers are hilarious, man. So, outside of snipers being insanely overpowered and desperately needing a range decrease on their damage range, on their one-shot range, guns are completely useless without attachments. I mean, the guns being useless without attachments and it taking so long to get attachments, and there being so many redundant, pointless attachments, it's just a lot that make the guns feel like ass. The accuracy issues, the slow weapon leveling, the slow player leveling so you don't get new guns nearly as often, or gadgets. Like, it takes forever to get the gadgets you want because they're locked behind player levels instead of a company currency that they always used to use. This game is just, it just feels like the engagement's not there. The camo system? What camos, dude? The camos in the game are shit. They don't have a gold or a mastery or a cool camo grind. As far as I know, I looked. Can't find one. That should be in the game day one. Something to play the game. A reason to play the game. Like, that's the reason why people were like, when the beta came out, they were yelling at streamers going, man, streamers just don't get Battlefield, man. They're ruining the game, blah, blah, blah. Because they think Battlefield should have a battle pass, which it will. They think Battlefield should have daily login bonuses, which it probably will, you know, with the assignments system. There's probably going to be some daily assignments you can complete for some sort of currency or XP. That's not crazy. That's stuff to keep you engaged because the gameplay loop is drop dead boring right now. So we need a camo system, something to play the game. Give me a reason to play the game because right now the gameplay's not nearly enough. It's incredibly boring and forgettable gameplay, and it's not engaging at all because I can get better at rotating. I can get better at flanking. There's nothing else I can get better at. You know, my aim is improving. I'm trying out a new sensitivity. Other than that, what else can I improve upon? I don't feel a natural progression with this game because there's zero skill gap. Anyways, the gunplay, they did something weird, and I think it's the accuracy, but also the recoil just feels weird. It feels like you're pulling through mud when you're controlling the recoil. I'm sure controller probably feels equally as ass. And it's just like Battlefield 2042, if you know how that gunplay felt. But the beta didn't feel like this, in my opinion. So I don't know if I'm the only one, but gunplay, like whenever you're actually pulling down to control recoil, feels genuinely terrible. Another huge issue I have with this game is the servers. So I have a hardwired connection, really good internet, and I naturally get around 40 ping. I'm having major issues where I'm dying behind corners, behind walls. There's a massive desync issue. Worse than anything Call of Duty or Battlefield has put out ever. The desync is so bad. And, you know, they say they have 60 hertz servers or whatever. Who knows? Maybe it's the high strain because the game just came out and there's a high player count, but the servers are genuinely garbage. Some of the worst servers I've ever played on. It makes gunplay feel terrible because sometimes you'll miss shots from the servers. Sometimes you'll miss shots from the accuracy issues. It's just like you can't win. You know, the servers are junk though. Dying behind corners happens constantly. I mean 24/7. It happens 50% of my deaths at least. It's terrible. Another huge issue I have with this game is a bug that I keep encountering that is literally a non-stop bug. I play on Steam. Just put that out there. I can't put attachments, new attachments on my gun mid-game. It doesn't work. It is super frustrating to finally get the attachment you want and to have to back out of the game in order to use it and forfeit your XP, forfeit your player level XP in order to put this attachment on. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This bug was in the game at the first beta. They never fixed it. It's been months. They haven't fixed this bug. It blows my mind. Another little bug, there's a lighting issue when you're entering or exiting buildings where it's like your character has to adjust to the outside world. It's genuinely terrible. When you're outside, you can't see inside. And when you're inside, you can't see outside. It's horrible. You can't see players. So that's a terrible, terrible lighting issue that needs to get rectified. Sometimes the NATO team just straight up doesn't spawn with vehicles. They don't get vehicles. It's mainly the helicopters, but I have seen some tanks just unable to spawn. I've been in multiple games where players are they're asking like, is there a reason I can't use the helicopter on this map? Why do the enemies get it and I don't? Right? Like that's these developers, man. Footstep audio is atrocious. It's terrible, horrendous, abhorrent. Whatever word you can come up with, it's terrible. I recommend turning on 3D headphones, turn on Windows Sonic, turn on 3D headphones in-game. That's a really good way to do it. And then turn on, I think it's high dynamics. That's what I use. It helps, but yeah, the audio is really bad. You hear a lot of stuff you don't want to hear. And there's a lot of bugs with the audio. Like whenever I go if I die and I go to customize my gun real quick, I hear this popping noise in my ear. It hurts really bad. It's super loud and it pops in my ear. I don't know why the audio does that. It's super annoying. Hit markers are super loud in this game. Nothing else is that loud. Like I play on 40 master volume and it feels good. Everything's comfortable. And then I get shot at, especially a sniper, man. It hurts my ears, like genuinely hurts. And I end up getting a headache really quick. Some of the challenges to unlock some of the weapons in the game just do not track correctly. Don't know why, but they either are not labeled correctly or they just don't track properly because you can do exactly what it says, bash your head against the wall, and half your kills don't count. So not understanding that, they need to make it either more clear on what you're supposed to do in order to get the camo, or I mean the gun, or they need to fix the bug that's occurring if that is the case. The settings menu, I don't know if I already mentioned it, the settings menu is really bad. The settings menu is junk. Things are just all over the place. It's god awful. I'm sure that will get better, but yeah. For people who are new to the game, God bless you, because you're going to have a terrible time trying to get your settings dialed in. I've also heard that the vehicles are super unbalanced. I'm not super familiar with that because I don't play vehicles, but I do. I mean, the flat cannon is still ridiculous. The flat cannon on the tanks just kill you ridiculously easily around corners or anything, especially with the desync. It's terrible. The flat cannon needs a damage nerf, and the helicopters are like weak as hell. So like an LMG can shoot down a helicopter really easily. So I don't know. I've heard that the controls on the jets are bad. You can't customize your jets. I've heard a lot of bad issues with the vehicles, so those need to get fixed. Also, the terrain is super buggy. Still horribly buggy. There's certain things also that you just can't climb up. I don't know why. You definitely should be able to climb certain things, but it's like, no, you can't climb that. So you're just sitting there jumping against a wall, wondering why you can't climb, and then you die. And then other than that, you can just be walking on a piece of a hill, and your character just jumps in the sky like 10 feet, and you just die. You just get killed. So a lot of weird bugs in this game. And the visibility on the maps is really, really bad. It's hard to see people. And since smokes are locked, you know, like you can't see people out when you're out in the open. And smokes are locked to support. So if you're not playing support, let's say you're playing engineer, so that way you can kill vehicles, like you're just gonna have a terrible time. You're gonna get killed. Bro. And the bloom makes it to where it's just like you can't even shoot back at the snipers. Like you try and tap fire and then they just kill you because snipers have zero flinch. There's so many issues that just compound to make this game feel really bad in my hands and really disappointing. But everything culminates all together. There being no camo system, it being an open class system, right? Me having to force myself to have to play support because that's where the smoke grenades are, and support's just broken and the game's not fun without it. So I have to play support. I have to use SMGs because the ARs are useless without attachments. Everything together makes me feel less engaged. The leveling system's so slow. It's just everything culminates together to make an experience that's not engaging for me. The movement being bad, I can't get better at the movement. It's just not engaging for me at all. And genuinely, with the announcement of the aim assist nerf, Call of Duty feels like a better buy. Genuinely, Battlefield 6 wasn't worth my $100 purchase. Now, I'm not going to get that Battle Pass yet. That's coming later, I think, on the 28th of this month in 14 days, 2 weeks. I would refund the game if I could, and I'm so serious. This game wasn't worth my $100. I would have spent the 70 on it, but I am just kind of annoyed. And when Black Ops 7 drops, because Black Ops 7 is more engaging, there's more for me to do. It's going to be more fun for me. To learn the movement, get better at that, to grind camos. There's just more stuff to do on Call of Duty. I'm going to enjoy that year more if I play Call of Duty probably. But we'll see. I love Battlefield and I love Call of Duty and I want them both to do great, but I'm probably never going to play Battlefield once Call of Duty comes out if they don't rectify nearly everything mentioned in this video. Like genuinely, I think they need to fix everything in this video for the game to be like, okay, this is a good game. But right now, this game is incredibly mid and is not worth. It's not worth $100. I don't really know if it's worth 70. Obviously, it's up to you. But for me, damn, I do feel like I got scammed because I played the beta and it gave me a great first impression, and then they just changed all the things I liked and ruined the game. And then David Sirlin is just, I didn't like the way he was acting on Twitter. I didn't like the replies he was giving. It didn't give me faith, but luckily he did say, please keep coming with the feedback. So doubt anyone's watching, but if you are, I still love this game. I still love this franchise. I want it to do well. Please fix every single damn issue I just discussed, because genuinely, Call of Duty is using you as an excuse to get better. And when they get better, they're going to steamroll your audience. COD is dead right now, but they are leveraging this opportunity to be better. And they have some promising things going on over there. So these games are two different franchises. This video is about Battlefield, but still, I'm just disappointed. Overall, I'm disappointed in this game. I think if they fix every single issue I just mentioned, then this will be a playable, fun experience for me. But until they do, I'll be playing Black Ops 7 when it comes out. But we have a month until then, so we will see. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Consider dropping a like, subscribe down below if you enjoy the content, and feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns for me. Or have any requests for some content. I'm not really sure what to do with Battlefield because of it irking me so much, but, you know, I'm open. I'm open book here. We'll see what we can do. But anyways, peace out.